We get very rare opportunity to meet you. I would like to talk more about you along with the book. Sir, I have read so many articles about you and I have seen so many interviews of yours. You have got world recognition and your work went viral among different countries. And then, but a lot has happened before that, right from your childhood. As a 5 year old boy, there were episodes, there were instances where the compassionate person of you has come out and acted. So you said compassion is all about action and it's not a feeling.
Yeah.
So you did that as a 5 year old boy. So how did this happen?
When I started my work, the issue of child exploitation, child abuse, child slavery, they were non-issues, though they were prevalent in the society and still prevalent. But no laws, no schemes, no media, not a single article has been written in the media and so on before I gave up my career as engineer. And
Because it was treated normal.
so it was treated the part of life as for centuries the exploitation of women and discrimination against women were treated as the normal life. Anyway, the first incident of spark of compassion now I say, but those days I had no idea about the compassion and what
Were the
is
seeds
wrong
sowed
or
in you
right.
at the very young age?
So that was when I was 5.5 years old, and it was the first day of my school. It was a municipal school for ordinary children. So when I was entering in the school, I found a boy, a cobbler boy, my age, sitting at the doorstep. He was my age, maybe 6 year old, I was 5.5. And that has disturbed me. I was shocked because I was told that all children have to go to school when they are 5-6 year old. So in my class, the first question I asked to my teacher, "Sir, why a child is sitting outside the school gate and not with rest of us in the classroom?" He said, "Calm down, this is your first day and this is not uncommon. Children have to help the families." But as a child, what could I do? So
It was your natural instinct.
natural instinct, but I could not respond because he tried to convince me. But when I came back during the daytime, in the afternoon, the boy was still sitting under the hot sun, the open sky. It made me even more disappointed. I asked this to my mother and my other relatives, wise people, educated people, and they had similar answers to convince me, but I was not convinced because every morning and afternoon I was looking at that boy and he looked at us with empty eyes whether we are going to give him some job. But we all had new shoes. So one day I gathered my courage and stopped and asked him and his father, who was also sitting that day alongside. So boy was very shy, but the man stood up with folded hands and he said, "Babuji, I never thought about it because my grandfather, my father and I started going to work since we were children and so is my son." Then he took a pause and with helplessness and misery and hopelessness on his face, he said, "बाबूजी, स्कूल जाने के लिए तो आप लोग हैं, हम तो यही काम करने के लिए पैदा हुए हैं. So sir, you are born to go to school, but we are born to work." And I started crying. I could not hold it. I could not comprehend it. But that shock gave me a different perspective of life. First thing came that whatever my teachers, my family says, that may not be right. That cannot be just because it could be a mental complacency. I have always been a big God believer and I was convinced that he is the or she is the Supreme Father and no mother or father can be unjust. That discrimination or something is wrong somewhere, I don't know, I cannot explain that those days, the caste system and all those things. But slowly I started understanding this discrimination and that kind of abuses, social abuses and hierarchy. And then I found that there were many children not going to school and working on the roadside restaurant or other places. Gradually, I accepted it as a personal challenge. I'm not going to leave it like that, and I will change it. That has been always my determination, that all children must be in school and not in the labor and slavery practices.
So here I would like to bring a parenting perspective to this. So when you took it up as a challenge and that was your stand, how did your parents react to it?
So, my parents actually, when I grew up, I got involved in many student activities, some kind of social activities. So, earlier they were happy because I was good at studies and I was bringing a lot of prizes in my writing competition.
You were a good student.
Yeah, anyway, I was good student for many people, but I was very, desperate one, that I was looking injustices around me and trying to find the solution, but very difficult. I tried to find some solutions here and there, fighting against caste system. I changed my name, Sharma. My other family members still write Sharma, but I challenged it and I changed my name to give up the caste system. So that went on. But when I gave up my engineering career, it was a shock for everyone. My father passed away when I was young, but my widow mother, and we were not rich people, ordinary lower middle class family. So my brothers and all friends and relatives, they were very angry, to be very frank. My mother cried several times and holding my hand and requesting that if you wanted to help poor children, I can sell my some silver ornament and you can take this small house and open an orphanage or school. I don't care. Please do it. But don't leave the job. And I could not convince her for years and years that it is not helping 10, 20 or 200 or 2000 children. I am trying to change that ecosystem which creates injustice, and these children are the worst sufferers of it. So I desperately thinking to find some way out and dispassionately resigned from my job and started the Bachpan Bachao Andolan, the Save the Childhood movement in 1980. It was very, very difficult to convince anyone, I would say, not only family but friends. It was my wife Sumedha, and even before our marriage, we spoke about it, and she was convinced that, of course, instead of leading the ordinary life of luxury or convenient life, lucrative life, whatever you are thinking, that is important, and let us take risks. So we took the risk in life, and it was very difficult. As Gandhiji said, that first they ignore you, then they oppose you, then they fight with you, and eventually you will win. So I have gone through all these stages. I won't say that I have won my battle. It is still on, and that is the reason I have launched this new movement, Sathyarthi movement for global compassion, because I wanted to solve the problem from the bottom, and sustainable solutions should come, and we need not to ask for solutions from someone outsider. The solutions lies within us.
Correct. Sir, you've believed in this slogan, every child matters, right from your childhood. And in spirit, you've been working towards it, giving up your lucrative career. But in the process, you must have met a lot of people who came along with you. You actually made an army of yourself who are working towards this and making change makers across the globe. You've taken the slogan to almost more than 100 countries wherever you have traveled. So, how do you think it helped them? Did it make any change?
First of all, I always believed in big dream or the biggest dream, but dream not for yourself, dream for everyone, dream for the society. And I always believed in the inner power. God has not sent us on the earth as just animal or social animal. We all have come with some purpose, and we hardly able to find our purpose in life, and we keep on dragging here and there. The small things are like our purposes, but that is not true. The real purpose should be when we leave, we should be happy and satisfied that we have made this contribution to the world. We have made this world a bit better than before. So we have to find the purpose on the basis of that that parameter. So my action actually, when I started freeing children, and media has been a big power and supporter, because it was also good for them. It was a story for them all the time, because nobody has done it before, and they had no idea that children are still enslaved and bought and sold like animals. But when these children were brought before the media, some of the media personals started going with me in the rescue operations, and they were very dangerous, and they reported the whole thing. And then the people were awakened gradually. So some of them started approaching us. Some volunteers came in the initial years, and then many more people came. Some people gave up their jobs. Even some media personals gave up their jobs. There was a girl from Doordarshan in India. Her name was Seetal. Now she has moved to USA, but still working with us in USA. So she resigned from Doordarshan and she joined us in the initial years. So there are many examples.
Sir, your journey, the world is witness to it. And it was not very easy. You freed thousands of children from bondage, slavery, and trafficking. And the kind of struggle that you went through, the world is witness to it. It was not very easy. And it was not just you, you had a team with you. There are so many challenges that you faced. There were instances where you lost your people. They were beaten, they were tortured. They were literally going into the mouth of death and bringing children out of it.
Yeah.
So it was not just you, you had to drive an army behind you. So that one force that drove you and your team, is it Karuna?
Absolutely. That was Karuna. That is Karuna. That will always be Karuna. Because none of them and me, driven by any political desire or any religious desire or something, desire to go to heaven or things like that. And since we are not committing any sin, at least in our opinion, in our mind, so we thought that what we are doing is due to the force of compassion, which gives us courage, that gives us mindfulness, unbiasedness, and that makes us active and innovative and problem solver. So that drive was always courage and compassion.
So how do you motivate young people, sir? Because they are the future, and karuna or compassion is one virtue that every person should have. And then there will not be any meaning and any purpose for these evils to exist.
Yeah.
So did you make any checkpoints for a person through your book where we can see where we stand in this CQ?
So we have not yet rolled out the CQ. We have brought the idea, we have developed the framework, and that framework has to be researched, and there would be a massive research work for a year or so. But I strongly believe that our children, our Gen Z, and these people are the source of power. And that power is purer than the power in the hands of people sitting in big positions. Because there is some pollution in it. But in case of these young people, youngsters, they will make India much more greater, much more newer, fresh, through their energy, but their honesty also. The only thing is that we have to trust them, and we have to give them the leadership. We have to hold their hands, but then leave it to sit in the driving seat and drive. So I tell the young people three things, what I call 3D formula, not as a preacher or not as a teacher, but someone who has experienced in my life. So my 3Ds are dream, discover, and do. So dream big for yourself and for everyone, for your nation, for your world. Discover your inner power and the external opportunities. And if you are able to do these two, then whom are you waiting for? The third D is do. Act now.
So you spoke about child-friendly villages where you have created a space for children, for their voices to be heard, for them to act, you know. So what was the basis for this?
The basis was multifold. One was that we wanted to achieve four things. First one is that there must not be any child abuse, child exploitation in a village, any typical Indian village. No child labor, no child marriage, no child abuse, sexual abuse, no child trafficking. This is one. Secondly, all children, girls and boys from all communities and castes, they must be in schools. Third is all village children form their Bal Panchayat. So that Bal Panchayat is elected through secret ballots. They elect their leaders. That is third. And the Bal Panchayat and Adult Panchayat, the official Panchayat body, agrees to work hand in hands. So children are able to speak truth to power and solve their problems on the spot. So this is one. But for that, we have to be, one thing was in mind that democracy has to be inclusive, democracy has to be vibrant, democracy has to be bottom up. So children must learn democracy right from their childhood. They learn democracy. So democracy leads to inclusion. Democracy leads to be responsible young people but responsible citizens of the nation. So that was another aspect. The third aspect was the leadership. So many of my children who were Bal Panchayat leaders 20 years ago or 15 years ago, they are the elected Panchayat leaders now in their Panchayats and other places. Many of them are, if they became teachers, then they are leaders of the teaching community in teachers' unions and making.
So they all are the change agents today.
Oh yeah, they are all.
They all are
most
grown
of
up to
them.
be change
Most
agents.
of them. These girls refused child marriages. These girls refused, and boys refused dowry, and that was very, very uncommon. There are hundreds and hundreds of cases where the young girls strongly said no to their marriages and the marriage to other people, and the entire family and the community, the caste and relations, they stood up against them, but these girls were undeterred and strong. And some of them have been made the ambassadors by the governments, their district governments as well as the state governments, as the anti-child marriage ambassador. And they are still the ambassadors. Some of them were awarded some of the highest prizes in the United Nations, in different places, and many of them have become our activists and they are working in the organization.
Wow. Sir, like I told you before, as Indians, we are blessed with nice mythologies that speak to us of valor, of compassion, of, lot of leadership qualities and all. So pick one mythology, there are so many virtues in it. But when we read it, it is not close to what we are, the kind of life we are living right now. But your life is very much contemporary and we are right here living in this society. So will Karuna give us anecdotes from your life where we can see all these qualities of yourself and your team?
I'm not sure how much people can learn,
Emulate from
and
that?
instinct and relate with that. It could be possible. But I say that India is or has always a nation, a country which was problem solver. When my Nobel Prize was announced, a foreign journalist asked me that day that India is a land of so many problems and how are you going to tackle this even this one single problem of child slavery. It's very complicated country. And my spontaneous answer was and still is that India may be the land of 100 or a few hundred problems, but India is the mother of over a billion solutions. We are the land of solutions. So, take the case of our old rishis. They were not just, or gurus, they were not preachers and teachers only. They lived their life. They made sacrifices. They were living in jungles and trying to build compassionate leaders, the responsible leaders. They were educating and training the princes and princes and so on. And that is the historical truth. Similarly, people like Buddha and Mahavir and Guru Nanak Dev and people like, say, Gandhi, they were born in this land and they have shown the light to the rest of the world. So there is no dearth of real lives in India. But the problem is that we make them God. We say that they are superhuman. No, they are like
They are
us,
like
ordinary
us.
human beings. But what made them special or unique is compassion. So I am trying to interpret their lives as the lives of compassion, the walking compassion on the earth. So people normally write, oh, they were very kind, they were very genuine, very moralistic, they fought for right and so on. But what was their drive? What was their drive? Their drive was compassion, because compassion means no ego if you solve the problem. Compassion means no desire and expectation when you are going to solve others' problem. So when you become a person with no desire and no ego, that is compassion. And our great people did it and proven it. So we can learn from India. We can learn from ourselves, our neighborhood, our parents, our friends.
So that one solution for the transformative change that we are looking forward to is here. It is compassion quotient that
Yeah,
we
of
need to
course, of
inculcate.
course, of course.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.